Hey YouTube, Godin. I had a couple of Godins in the past. It's an artisan ST. Quite an expensive guitar, much more expensive than normal guitars. Check the wood that this is made of. I believe it was Burl Elm or something, I can't remember. I could find the specs for this guitar online because it's relatively new. Ebony fretboard, sort of carved top. It's got like that faux binding, you know, when they carve the tops or whatever, the wood at the top's just taped off to make it look pretty cool. This one's been upgraded with active EMGs. Got a battery in the back, and the bridge, which is standard, is a Caller made in the USA, Floyd Rose copy. So I'm just trying to get my head around the EMG pickups. So neck pick, playing through my wee Lenny VC, no pedals. The cleans are just more. Position 4, the neck in the middle. Middle pickup. In the middle of the bridge. Bridge pick up on its own. So the pickups have a unique sound. I can't really get over the fact it's got pickups. I wish it just maybe if I got these pickups in a guitar that I'd played before. You know, if I wish I'd done it myself to a Strat or something, because this guitar is lovely. It really is. I suppose it is just basically a Strat, a Floyd Rose equipped Strat, obviously. Kind of reminds me of, I think there's Schecter make, like the modern Schecter, the Diamond series make ones that guitars look very much like this, apart from with a spikier head. It's kind of, it's not really my thing. Annoyingly, when it's, look at the wood it's made of. It's too fancy. It's too expensive for me, I think. But I'm enjoying playing it. The active pickups, or the guitar in general, is so clean. But it's the noise. You don't notice there was ever noise there until I've been playing. Oh, you can't see it in the video, but my Strat up there this morning, things sound amazing clean. This is just so, it's on, and there's absolutely no noise at all now. it's quite spooky. It reacts. They react differently to distortion than what I'm used to, though. I want to try this through some distortion pedals. I think because I'm used to using, like, it's a tube drive. I didn't use a pedal there, it's just I just changed it into the drive channel. I think they respond a bit differently to pickups as opposed to the way these pickups work, so I think maybe I need a bit more EQ, because it seems very bright. That's me using the neck pickup. It's like a different frequency spectrum. And it's good sounds. They're just different. But it's by no way not nice. If you roll the volume back a wee bit, it starts to respond a little bit more like what I would be used to. Doesn't sound as extreme. I wonder if that's maybe just a trick. I wonder if maybe like because they're active, when you've got them up full bung, it's driving the amp a little bit harder than what, like when you've got it distorted, just driving it a bit harder, so it's kind of more, maybe just putting less distortion on the amp would do the same sort of trick, or just not have the guitar up full. In fact, I actually think this amp's got two inputs. It's got a low input. Would that be for lower? Would that be before this? Yeah, okay. I don't know if that's going to come through in the video, but yeah. Now it sounds more like what I would expect. It doesn't sound like clean. Aye. Yeah. So there's a wee trick for you. If you happen to be using a Lenny VC15 as well, there's two inputs. You get a high input and a low input. If you put it into the low input, which is for like a lower, I think it's just for a lower signal. Nope, it's for, aye. Let's get lower gain on it or whatever it is. It's kind of 4 active pickups. Because now it's sounding exactly like a normal guitar but without the noise. I'm now wondering if I actually liked the sound of it a bit more crank now. It seemed to make a big difference in the distortion though. Yeah, much fatter. Good Floyd Rose. I was one of those people that was totally against Floyd Roses for many, many years. They do take a bitching time to set up, but on expensive guitars, when you've got an expensive Floyd Rose, the first one, especially when it's set floating, this one is, I've got a bend in it. I don't know how many notes is that. 2 note, full note up bend. But when you've got a good Floyd Rose, it does go back to being in tune. I think that's just to do with because when you get cheap ones, they're made out of, there's so many parts to it. If it's made out of a sort of cheaper material, they kind of bend and just don't work quite as well. Whereas I think when you've got like a proper metal one, like this, the first guitar I had that worked was a Washburn G15, which I've still got. I bought it and it was like, oh, it's got a Floyd Rose. I got it for such a stupid price I couldn't say no. And then it was like, hold on, why does this Floyd Rose just work? It's the first time I've ever actually come across one that didn't totally hamper your playing. You know, it wasn't like you're constantly sitting there trying to keep it in. It just worked immediately. In fact, no, I stripped the guitar, cleaned it all, put it back together again, and it worked immediately. So I think if you have to get a Floyd Rose, if you get an expensive enough one, they work. I can see how this could be somebody's favourite guitar though. I much prefer this to, well, I've sold it now. I had a Godin SD24. This is a much nicer guitar than that was. It still had its charms though. I didn't really get it. It was kind of, I'm still not really sure what this is. For some reason I can see this being like a Cradle of Filth guitar or something like that. That's what it's going to be used for. It just doesn't seem like right. It's like a bit more, so clean. So quiet. Yeah. So there we go. I can't remember what year this was. The problem I have with Godins is, see if you're buying them second hand, you can get an amazing guitar for not much money. See if you buy them new, they're still really good value. I mean, this was, you know, this would be more expensive than, it would be the same price as an American Strat, something like that. And it's like pure, yeah, and it's a better guitar, but you know, get it home, keep it a year, and put them back up for sale, and suddenly the American Strat's worth kind of the same as what you paid for it, whereas this is just suddenly half its value immediately. They really hold their value pish to do Godins. So if you buy a second hand one, they hold the value really well, I suppose, because they're already too cheap. Incidentally, it's got, you would think that would be in the 24th fret, that crazy mark, the fret marking. So I thought, oh, it's got 25 frets, well, but it doesn't, it's only got 22. So it's the 21st fret that's got the big marker on it. I don't know why they would do that. There are dots on the fretboard up top, very small ones, but it's got the ones on the edge of the. Look at the. Can I hold it long enough for it to focus on it? Focus on it. You can see it's made of crazy wood of some mad flame and stuff in it. It looks like dents, but it's not. That's just the grain of the wood. Madness. The grain on the top is most fancy looking. Being super nitpicky, I think the pickups that must have originally had must have been the normal shaped. You know, it's not a completely straight line. There's a wee bit of wood showing there behind the EMGs. See, because they're just straight. There's that wee gap in there. No, you don't really see it, but I'm considering going in there with a bit of black tape or pen or something, just to put something in, just to hide it, just because I'm being pernickety. This one's been dropped at some point. It's got a crack here in the wood, but I've seen that. I've seen much worse cracks. It's not going anywhere. Just an impact bash. It's got some relicking down the outside, and a few chips on the headstock. as far as guitars go, if this was a review of any of these guitars, quality piece of kit, really is. I believe they came with hot rails to start with rather than EMGs. This has been an upgrade. I actually looked up the upgrade thinking they were maybe about £100 a set. They're actually £90 each, these pickups. It's like, wow. So I had very high expectations. I'm already sitting a wee bit scared of this guitar because it's just worth too much money for me. But it's getting kept just now because it's fun. Rock and roll.